Commissioner, the main reason is we have seen what we have achieved within the PKTT. We will receive and expect from their respective units. Yes, there will be experts, but there will be lots of other areas that will have to work on to make them, to improve on their fields of expertise. The first one being in the PKTT, we prioritize accountability at all levels, that you have to account for whatever that you are doing, which is normally lacking at unit or station level. And also the other difference is, as specialists are operating within their fields, they only see themselves and what they have to do. There is no link where you link the different aspects so as then they can give you the desired results. And maybe to add, the other reason is the turnaround time of whatever that is happening in the PKTT. We have made it such that it's far much better than the normal SAPS units or stations are operating.
Thank you, Commissioner. Can you give us a practical example of this turnaround time that you refer to? What would be the difference in the PKTT versus what you say is not the same in the normal SAPS units?
Yeah, maybe so as I don't make the work of the Commission difficult, I'll quote on one of the evidence that has been led here, which is the ballistic analysis. We put it such that the ballistic experts must understand that he or she is playing a supportive role of the investigation. The more time you spend on producing the report, you are delaying the investigator. So now, because each and every investigation has got a plan, so the physical worker, the investigating officer, will not want then to miss the targets and the timelines because of a particular specialist that is bringing his or her own turnaround time. I will say where we saw it working for us was or is the ballistic analysis. The reason why we normally use it is in our report we were flagging on ad hoc cases that will be generated from the intelligence-driven operations where we're looking for firearms. So in most cases, those operations will be on Fridays during the proper time, but on Fridays. So because we will be having a target that we have intelligence that is in possession of a firearm that was used in a particular case. So the work of a ballistic expert will start Friday midnight or Friday or Saturday morning when we come back with that firearm. The target is by Monday when we go to court to enroll the possession of unlicensed firearm. It's already linked with a main case that we're investigating. But all the turnaround times are made shorter because they have to fit the investigation plan, whether it's called data analyst. If the request by the investigating team to the call data analyst is to quickly analyze the movement using the towers that will be given then a shorter turnaround time, because it has to allow the taskings and the responsibility of the investigator to continue, so as then the investigation plan is not delayed because of the expert. So it's one of the reasons why we had to tap on the tried and tested personnel from the PKTT. Our timeline, although it's not included in my affidavit, but if we look at the time the experts joined the GCI Ops, which was the 19th of November, and with a quick briefing for them to understand, and thereafter they move separate ways to start doing what is relevant to their different fields, and they bring it back. And then by the 6th of December, we were ready for the takedown of the first target, which is roughly 2 weeks from the 19th to the 6th. That's another example.
So that's 19 November 2024 that these 10 members were seconded to GCI Ops and they began their work immediately.
Yes.
And you say they were recruited specifically for their expertise.
Yes.
And you couldn't obtain that kind of expertise in Gauteng through the normal units. You've explained that.
Yeah, it's not, thank you, Commissioner. It's not that we could not. The expertise and experts are there, but the way of operating, starting from the attitude towards your work, which is more about, because I think I indicated previously that the way of the methodology in the PKTT it's different from the normal SAPS way of doing things. Every day there are accounting sessions, every day. When you go out, maybe let me start by, you don't go out to do what you think and feel needs to be done. A day before, which will give rise to the taskings, that the investigation team must go and obtain statement from A and B. And the statement must contain these. And then when that comes, then the team will sit again to account and verify the feedback, whether it's talking to the. So we wanted, because we could see, as I've said, they were, because this now was a different operation with a counterintelligence investigation, as I reflected that one of the objectives of counterintelligence is to neutralize the threat. So you cannot then leave the threat being there for ages. So the quicker you neutralize the threat, then the quicker then the level of risk is going down, because there are lots of logistics that are put in place to make sure that the investigation and investigators are protected. So for us to achieve that, not that we undermined the experts that are all over the country, but we thought that we rather opt for the ready-made group that is suitable for what we have on hand.
General, why can't the mode of operation of the PKTT be replicated throughout the country? If at the end of the Commission's life, that is in terms of the testimony led before it, we are satisfied that indeed the PKTT works better than the rest of subs. This is a question we may have to answer, that is, why can't that mode of operation be replicated throughout the country?
Thank you, Commissioner. In all our reports, that is included as one of the recommendations to the powers that be, that we recommend that this methodology is used as a benchmark to try and change the way we are investigating crime, because our traditional way, it's still suitable for normal crime. The assault commons, the assault GPH, but then when it comes to organized crime, the same traditional ways are not applicable. So we will recommend that with all our reports. There's been attempts, Commissioner, if I may divert from my affidavit, there's been attempt, there was a time, a year, where all provinces were requested to send a minimum of 6 members of SAPS to come and sit with the PKTT and learn. So we will have classes at night, and then during the day, we send them out with the teams for practicals. And it was a successful intervention or attempt. The problem started then when they had to go back and implement, because now those that are expected to implement or supervise the implementation were not understanding. You have trained 6 members from Limpopo. When they get back home to their commanders, they are going back to the old ways. Hence, then the second attempt was with Western Cape, where the National Commissioner instructed that the Provincial Commissioner himself be part of the team that will go and learn. One can say that showed some positive results because now the man in charge of the province has got that understanding to implement. So hence then we believe that this model of PKTT can be used as a transition from the normal or traditional way of investigating to this one that is suitable for the problems that we are facing as a country at this moment. We look at, there was a time when I think I had a session with the crime scene experts. Then the first question of the PKTT, the first question I asked as to how many are you countrywide? They gave me the number that is almost 2 times more than the police stations that we have. Then I said, then why then you have your units somewhere instead of having each station allocated the expert that. So as we move, the second most important investigative aid that we will need to prioritize is called data analysis. Almost everybody is having gadgets nowadays, and the way it helps in terms of investigation and also fast tracking. So in trying to answer your question, Commissioner, I was very long, but I was trying to show that there's been attempts, but it won't be the first time that the PKTT model is recommended. it has been recommended by ourselves and then also accepted by some of the principals within SAPS.
At the beginning of your response, you said you made recommendations to the open quote powers that be, close quote. Who are those powers?
Thank you, Commissioner. I was referring to, in terms of accountability, the PKTT is reporting firstly to the Provincial Steering Committee that is made up of the top management of those stakeholders that are within the province. So when we submit the report, we include that recommendation so as they can see if they can do something. Same applies to national.
I'm not sure that that answers my question. You said that you have made recommendations to the powers that be that the mode of operation of the PKTT be adopted nationwide. Did I understand you correctly?
Yes.
Yes. Now my question is, who are the powers that be that you made your recommendations to? I would imagine it must be at national level.
Thank you, Commissioner. I started at provincial level. I was moving on to say even within the National Steering Committee meeting chaired by the National Commissioner, even when we are submitting the periodical reports to the National Commissioner, we will include that recommendation. Even when we have to submit the report to the interministerial or even the Ministry of Police, we will include that recommendation. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the initiative of Western Cape team led by the Provincial Commissioner was recommended by the Ministry when then that report was tabled.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. So you would have made the recommendation to the Minister, to the National Commissioner, as well as other ministers within the Interministerial Committee that was having oversight of the PKTT.
Yes, Commissioner.
So that was a small diversion. Let's return to where we were, the secondment of the team, and particularly because of the importance of the working method of this team that led to the arrest of Mr. Molefe on the 6th. And that brings you to paragraph 107 of your statement. Now, General, you'll see that the next few pages, all the way up to paragraph 124, describes the events that took place on the 6th of December when Mr. Molefe was being arrested, or what you call in Hollywood style, takedown. So that's what these paragraphs describe, the takedown of Mr. Molefe. Now, we've heard from quite a number of witnesses already. The Commission has heard from many witnesses, witness A, B, C, Captain Wanda, Captain Kruger, a range of people right until yesterday. So that's been detailed for the Commission, the details of all of those events. I don't think it's necessary for us to go through these paragraphs in detail. However, I would like you to explain some things for the Commission, including why you describe these events as interference. And I just want to begin by asking you whether you had overall coordination of this operation that was taking place on 6 December.
Yes, thank you, Commissioners. Maybe to give a little bit of background to the part that the Senior Counsel is directing me to talk to, I'll I'll link it with my last statement that said when the experts were brought in from the 19th of November, and then by the 6th of December, we were ready for the first takedown. And then the investigation with the assistance of all these experts made it possible for us to obtain the warrant of arrest of Mr. Katiso Molefe on the 5th of December. That's when then we had to start preparing for the takedown or the arresting of Molefe the following day. Then, which was then on the 6th of December. So what we did, because within, as I've said, this is a GCI Ops, which has got a lot of intelligence activities within. So there are continuous threat and risk assessments that are done, even when you plan for the takedowns. There will be a lot of pre-activities that will take place. Hence, then, maybe before I get to the 6th, I must reflect that and remind the commissioners that we had carried also that kidnapping case or investigation that was assigned to the team also during around October, November, during the same time. So we had collected a lot of intelligence and information that needed us to conduct then the search and questioning of a suspected person involved. Hence, then, on our planning for the 6th operation, we had to include also that part of searching and questioning an identified target on the kidnapping case. So we had to do that because we had to mobilize additional resources for the 6th. So in order for us not to remobilize the following week for the search and questioning, then we decided to combine both the operations to take place on the 6th.
So the two operations you're referring to then is the takedown of Mr. Molefe and then the questioning of Mr. Matlala.
Matlala, yes.
So both took place on the 6th of December, and that was by design.
By design, not a mistake. It was planned to be like that, maybe to add why we had to mobilize more resources. When I was explaining the first batch of experts that came to assist, they were minus the tried, I'll always use this tried and tested combat experts that we utilize in the PKTT. So for this particular operation now on the 6th, we had to also get the support from the PKTT for the combat team to come and assist, because during the takedown, the first concept is to make the place safe for an investigating officer to enter and search and do whatever that needs to be done, and the experts from forensic also to come and do whatever that they need to do. But the other aspects that maybe commissioners I might add whilst I'm there, we had to mobilize extra special task force members from outside the province of Gauteng. The main reason was for a threat assessment that had been done on the second target or second operation, which was the search and questioning of Mr. Matlala, based on the profiles that we have done of his more than 20